Somehow I still can't hear. Huh. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go. Oh, I'm from New York. I'm good on my feet. It's all good. It's all good.
Oh, I know.
We should be. Good. On this turntable? Yeah. What are you doing over there? All right. Let me just get this together. Behind the scenes. Oh. Behind the scenes.
to make the shot a little bit better of you, so that we can see you.
Promise it will be together soon. That was good. I mean, yeah.
Hopefully it works.
That's good. That's good. It works.
Can you see yourself well?
Uh-huh.
Can you see yourself pretty well?
I can see myself, so I can make sure that it's good.
Just because in this one right here, you can only see like the
That,
top of your head.
which is the one we're looking at this?
Yeah. You can only see like the top of your head. Let me go see how that looks.
Is Chuck using these turntables? Can one of these? Sorry, what was the one of these turntables actually?
The record player? In both.
Have what they need.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we are back in the studio. My mic, I'm hoping that folks can hear me. Hey, guys in the B room, can you hear me? Okay, good. This is Lori Branch. I'm with Vintage House and on the Street Beat Show once again. We're here every Wednesday. Vintage House is a fantastic program that is a product of the Dance Music Archiving Foundation, headed by our illustrious executress in charge, Lauren Lowry, who's in the other room. Lauren, I need you in this room. I know you're in another room, but you know, you can't executive produce long distance because I don't know what's going on, but we'll fight after the show. In the meantime, I just want to say welcome to Jeff Pazen, who is here. Woohoo! We need our peanut gallery. Welcome.
Peanuts.
All right.
Could be snacks.
Yeah, well, you know, I try. Sometimes we have snacks, sometimes we have drinks, but you know, they prefer us not to have that in the studio. And make sure we can hear you. Lauren, can you hear Jeff? All right. I think Jeff's pulling out some snacks. I'm not sure.
As a matter of fact, I always bring Smarties with me.
Oh, he does have snacks. So, well, we're going to get started. I have so many things to share tonight because once upon a time, there's a DJ named Terry Hunter who is absolutely very famous these days, especially now that he's nominated for a Grammy.
Yep.
I know.
Nominee.
It's kind of like the top of your game in any music game. If you're nominated, if you win, that's even better. But just being nominated puts you in a different atmosphere. Wouldn't you say, Jeff?
Yeah, he's the man.
He's a good dude. But he had the idea some years ago to put together a list, and I believe it was voted on. I'm not sure how it came together. I don't know who informs these lists.
Staying out of it.
Jeff is staying out of it. But he put together a list of what he considered the most 100 influential DJs, what he called architects of house music. And listen, we call it the architects of house because Chicago is house. And so I think they're all from Chicago. We're going to get into Jeff's history in a minute.
I'm not sure if that's the case. I think some of them
there's
might
a few
have been
of
from outside the U.S., in fact.
Really?
Yeah.
In Terry's list?
Possibly.
Okay.
It's been a while. That's
Okay.
like 2011, I think, right?
Yeah.
It goes back.
I have a picture.
Yeah, I'm not in that picture.
I was wondering. I was like, I'm looking for Jeff. I don't see Jeff in this picture.
Yeah, I actually regret not going to that. I was just talking. One of my best friends is Gil Burns, another DJ that I've worked with throughout the years.
Okay.
He's brilliant, and we were just talking about this earlier tonight. And Wayne Williams is a really good friend of mine.
Yes.
So we go back years and years and years, 30 plus now. And Wayne invited me to this and gave me the date. And I don't know, I completely, you've done your homework. Wayne invited me, I didn't go down. And the thing that's killing me for those people that are looking online, whether it's, I don't know which cameras we need to use here.
Well,
But this is the shot of all the people that wound up at the Chickrick House or someplace on the south side.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't go. And then one day I took my son, who was probably around 12 at the time,
Yeah.
To the cultural center.
Yeah.
So that he could actually see this house music.
Okay.
exhibit
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
had.
That's great.
Vince Lawrence's 808 was in there and everything. And there's that picture, and it was sure great to say, "Hey, look, there's your pops."
there.
You know, but
There I am.
I didn't do it, so I have deep regrets about not showing
You
up
know,
that night.
what's funny about these pictures and collections and things that people ask you to show up for are, what's funny is that you never quite know which is serious, right? Like, because I think you get asked to do a lot of stuff if you're a Chicago house music DJ, and if you were around, if you're old, you know, you're not old.
I'm old.
No.
Oh no, I'm old as dirt.
No.
So.
I think I'm older.
Methuselah.
What's up, everybody?
Methuselah in the house.
Jeff Pazen here. Not Methuselah. But I think my point is, I'm moving a little closer so I can be in both of these shots.
I need to get in yours.
There we go. See, we can make it happen. But I think that people ask you to do things, you know, especially because Chicago was such the epicenter of what we consider the genesis of house music. So I'm sure you get asked to do interviews and all kinds of, well, listen.
I had to pay you guys to do this.
No,
one, so.
he's funny. But the point is, I think that sometimes it's like, I don't know where this is going to go. And you don't quite know. So I tend to say yes to a lot of things. And the few things that I say no to are things that I'm like, darn it, wish I would have shown up for that
This
picture.
was just a complete flake on my part. It was a Sunday in the summertime.
You're like, I'm not doing that.
No, it wasn't that at all.
Oh, what?
Are you kidding? Get a chance to go
You
hang
forgot.
out with some of these guys that were down there, visit my friend Wayne?
Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah.
Um,
It was a fun day.
yeah, it was. I bet.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, there were people. Well, hey, listen. It was one of the few times I got to actually take a picture with Frankie Knuckles. And were you friends with Frankie?
So I won't go so far as to say that I was friends with Frankie.
Mhm.
I've met him a handful of times.
Okay.
One of the nicest things that ever happened to me is I was playing records at Crobar. Turned around one day, seeing somebody that I thought was going to ask for a request.
Okay.
And I turn and I go, "Frankie Knuckles, what are you doing? Get in here." And he goes, No. I just wanted to come and say,
wow,
you sound really good.
That's
It was so nice to actually just see him. And I brought some stuff. I was looking for an autographed album that I had.
Okay.
He was one of a kind, right?
Really?
Yeah.
I got a chance to hang out with him a lot, and he was a big supporter of mine early on.
Oh, I'm sure.
Just a good, we could talk about Frankie all night, but we won't, because we're going to talk about you. This audience has heard a lot about Frankie Knuckles, and we love him, we miss him.
Mm-hmm.
All hail the king, right? So Jeff, I want to know, this is the Vintage House Show, and one of the things we like to do is, as Lauren has probably told you, is that we collect the stories of the people who were important to our history and who continue to make an impression, as this genre has become international. And so I really had fun, because I've heard your name through the years, different people,
right.
and so I'm like, oh, this is great. I don't think I've ever met Jeff in person, and if I have, I don't remember.
Right. Same. That's what I thought.
Ships in the night, kind of deal. But then I started doing, digging on Facebook, which you don't have to do. You have a thing, or I just couldn't find you.
I have kind of deactivated my
Okay.
Facebook account.
Okay.
So
we should talk about that.
I needed time.
I'm so often tempted to do the very same thing because it can suck
It's
your.
liberating. Oh yeah. So.
All right, guys.
Pick up another habit. Then.
I don't know. Should we deactivate Facebook? Apology, Adrian and Sky. I don't know. What do you think? So, Okay, well, let me get into your history because I have some questions for you, and then we're going to talk about these pictures. We
Okay.
already talked about architects of house. Some of you have seen this picture. This is the list we were saying: 100 most influential folks, mostly Chicago, but I think as you mentioned, some folks from out of town.
I think someone like Wayne or Alan King,
Yeah.
they would certainly know.
They would know for sure.
The cool thing about this, and I kind of alluded to this earlier,
Uh-huh.
Cultural Center.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Had this huge blow up exhibit.
I was.
Right?
I saw it.
And that photograph was huge.
I know.
Up above. You know?
I
So
took
you
a
walk through
picture
the whole
of
thing,
it.
and then you see that at the end, and it's like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I took a picture, and because all the DJs in Chicago went around that cultural exhibit, and they were like, "Where's my this?" Where
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wanted to see themselves there. So what nice thing about this is, if you weren't sort of represented in some other way, a lot of people got to see themselves,
sure.
here, which is kind of cool because you can't get everybody's story in there. But that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get everybody's story. So Jeff.
So here's my story. I'm going to be really, really clear. I'm grateful to be associated with this group. I don't really see myself as a house DJ.
Okay,
right?
That's good. Well, let's talk about it.
And we could go into that a little bit. On the flip side, I think that I've been really lucky I'm the luckiest boy on planet Earth, right? I've made great friends through the nightclubs that I've worked at. Music, I refer to as like my best friend a lot of times. The absolute best friends that I have in my life today are all people that I've met through clubs or through DJing or music. And these are guys that I'm still in contact with today. I mentioned Gil Burns earlier. Bud Sweet is somebody who basically hired me to work at Neo back in the day when I was 20 years old.
I used to go to Neo.
We probably met then.
Yeah.
So Jeff Moyer, who was a club kid who's been a DJ this whole time through everything, who streams several nights a week on Twitch and still kills it. I mean, these are guys that are so influential to me and they mean so much to me. So again, how lucky can you be to have music be a part of your life and then have great friends born out of that, right? And so the interesting thing to me, and the thing that I figured I'd talk to you about today, is how this kid from the West Side, this poor white kid from the West Side went to Whitney Young, started going to parties at Whitney Young where the chosen few in their early nascent stages were DJing. And then all of a sudden I fell into punk rock and a lot of British and alternative bands and things of that nature. And then ultimately some of those bands wound up finding house when the Brits, took a shine to house music and everything that you saw in the Hacienda and Manchester. Right. And I brought stuff today that shows some of the bands that I like and that I've always liked and that I continue to play today who kind of dabbled at the same time. So to me, house is huge. It's way bigger than just Chicago.
Oh, but of course.
It's massive, right? Yeah. And yet I'm still able to find all of these little synergies between what I liked, what house DJs have liked, and been able to play from that. And I'm also really proud of the fact that some of the clubs that I worked at, which were either known as new wave bars or punk bars or whatever, I was able to go there and push the boundaries a little bit and play some of this, which I think opened up the genre to a lot of people who might not have been associated with that had they not heard it in some of these clubs.
Yeah, so I want to push back a little bit with you on that you don't consider yourself part of this gang. Because
just being modest.
Well, I appreciate it. It's good. Because when we think of house music, sort of the culture and the genre or the canon, it really is an umbrella for a lot of different influences. And we were writing about this, Lauren and I, in different ways. And there's a phrase that we used to call ourselves. We used to call ourselves punks. We called ourselves punks, punk out. But even before we were sort of immersed in like disco and the music that was at the warehouse, we called ourselves punks. We were listening to Polystyrene and like these little sort of these. But we would go to Neo's, and we would go to what's the other place?
Exit and Smartbar.
All of that. But even before that, when we were in high school, we were listening to that. I mean, but the soft punk like the Pretenders you know,
Yeah.
stuff like that. That was kind of more like rock with a little, you know, edge to it. But we were listening to that stuff before we even went to the warehouse. And so it was a natural synergy, I think, of, you know, these different styles that had something in common, something that felt underground, that felt very special, that was curated by DJs who understood, you know, how to make a party, have a through line. And
Yeah.
so all of that emerged. I mean, all of that sort of, I would think, was infused into what we think was became house music. You know, it was all part of that trajectory. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, very much. And I think that, like I said, there's a certain evolution that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Look, music is universal,
Mm-hmm.
right? What you said a moment ago about house music being this international thing,
Sure.
to me, it's pretty impressive that you've got people in Chicago who are massive producers or influential. Look no further than like Honey Dijon, who
Yes.
just consulted for Beyonce's last record.
Yeah,
right?
she produced like 3 tracks on
Right.
it. Yeah.
But let me riff off of that really quickly. She also remixed a
Mhm.
Blamage record that I
Mhm.
was playing when I started DJing at Neo.
Wow.
You know, so all of this
Honey,
stuff comes full
If
circle.
you catch this, hope you
Oh.
catch this.
Yeah, and I actually brought it as one of the things where
That's
you know,
fun.
I brought a bunch of stuff that ranged from
Mhm.
you know, Jam Silk and Model 500 and
Yeah.
whatnot to things like Blamage.
Yeah.
You know, I've got one of my favorite house music records
Okay.
is Promised Land by Joe Smooth.
Wow.
You know, so here's
Joe
this.
Smooth, Promised Land.
He is a class act.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
So
Absolutely.
Joe plays that record. I'm growing up. I'm listening to
Okay.
this band, The Jam,
Yeah.
that you might know
Of course.
from whole punk and
Yeah,
post-punk
yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
mod movement. And then you see Paul Weller form the Style Council
Yeah.
and play Promised Land
Yeah.
with the Style Council. You know,
Exactly.
an extended
Uh-huh.
12-inch.
Yeah.
You know, so there's so many Pet Shop Boys doing It's All
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. So I think that the influence is very, very real.
Absolutely.
I think that it's something that this city should be proud of. I think that the people who
Mhm.
started this, the
Mhm.
Waynes and Vince Lawrence, for example, I
Yeah.
went to high school with Vince, so
Wow.
we were friends as
So
freshmen.
you went to Whitney Young.
I did.
What year did you come out of there?
1981.
Okay, so I was in the class of 80. So 1980.
I just gave everybody my age.
Oh,
I'm
who
95
gives
years
a
old.
shit?
I'm kidding.
Sorry, I'm swearing. I shouldn't have done that.
Where did you go to school?
Well, to Lindblom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we had our own little
I
place.
went to IIT, so I'm very familiar
Okay,
with
yeah.
the area.
So yeah, no, we had our pre-house music clique. Steve Hurley graduated with me, and a few others who were, you know, part of it. But yeah, no, Whitney Young, you were in the class with Michelle Obama.
Sure. Yes.
Was she in your class, or
She was
you?
well, she was also in several of my classes. I won't go so far as
Were
to
you
say
buds?
I'll say this: we were Facebook friends
Uh-huh.
until Barack Obama won the primary or the Iowa caucuses,
Uh-huh.
and then that account just went
Whoop, went
overnight.
dark. It went
So
dark.
I reached out to say, "Hey, congratulations!" and it was gone. So.
Oh, that's great. Well, she was a great first
terrific.
lady and a great Chicago and a Whitney Youngian. You know who else went to Whitney Young that I found interesting is are the Wachowski sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know them?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually DJ'd Lana Wachowski's wedding.
Oh, that's hot.
Yeah, it was fun. I didn't know whose party I was DJing. I knew it was somebody special, but I just got sort of a random call, and I'm like, this is like literally on my birthday. I'm not gonna do it. And I said, I'll have somebody else. I got a great person. You're like, oh, it's kind of special, you know. It's like a handler kind of person. And I'm like, I don't even know who it is. And so they're like, well, you know, all right, I'll do it. Here's my rate, whatever. They finally tell me a week before, like they don't tell me who it is. They tell me where to go, like the person's first name. So you know, I'm a good snooper. I took the name and some, you know, I'm like, oh wait a minute, this is you know, someone
legit.
This is legit. This is like the Matrix. But so it was fun, and she was such a sweetheart, as was her wife. So I had a good time with that. So anyway, Whitney Young.
That's right.
Yeah, we had a long conversation about like taking the same bus. They were going to Whitney Young, and I was going to Bloom, and we were all around the same age. So good stuff. What's up, Whitney Young folks, if you're watching? Yes.
Dolphins.
And so I want to talk. So I brought a couple pictures because I love to reference these, but I'll start with this one because you mentioned Wayne Williams and this young guy,
Kirkland.
Kirk and Wayne and Jeff. What was happening here?
So this is a photograph. And how do you like that Cosby sweater that I've got going
Beautiful.
on? Isn't that awesome? Can people see that? Can you
Yes.
see this, guys?
Yes, the Cosby
Styling.
sweater.
And it's probably about 4 sizes too big, too. So this photograph was taken when ASCAP opened a local office.
Okay.
So I worked for Jam Records.
Mhm.
I used to run the gear, all of the DJ gear and the AV equipment at the Park West Theater.
Okay.
Jam Productions had bought the Park West
Yeah.
from the Niedermeyer
Okay.
family. And I was fortunate enough, I was DJing there on their
Mhm.
Saturday nights,
Okay.
doing video. Like I was literally trying to hot mix
Okay.
3/4 inch video.
Oh my
tapes.
goodness.
Somewhat successfully. And then I was invited to DJ this particular party,
Okay.
and these gentlemen obviously came, Wayne in the music business. And Kirk, I think Kirk likes to tell people that he's part of Noise Busters.
Uh-huh.
So if you meet him on the street, he'll ask you if you know where the Menudo concert is. So they're a couple of wise guys. The best thing about it is
Yeah.
the person who took this photograph
Uh-huh.
works for a PR firm
Okay.
and was a friend of mine because they would come to Neo. And I said, I want a picture with Mayor Daley. Mayor Daley was there. And I kept asking for a picture
Uh-huh.
with the mayor. And so she literally cut Wayne out and put Richie Daley's
No,
face
she
there
didn't.
and sent me this
Oh,
picture
come
with
on.
Mayor Daley.
That's
Yes,
so
I still have
shady.
it. So
That's kind of shady. Well, listen, these guys I love both of them too. And Wayne was instrumental in helping me too. I mean, he was one of the early believers when there weren't any other women. He's like, well, we got to get you looked at.
And Wayne has been the biggest champion for me
Mhm.
as well. I mean,
Mhm.
he called me a couple of months ago saying, I'm playing records at this place on the South Side. You should come and join me.
Really?
Like he is,
Yeah.
he's pure class. I love the man. And I brought a bunch of stuff that he actually gave me.
Oh, okay.
Because Wayne used to come into Smartbar
Mhm.
when I was playing records there. And Wayne worked for Jive at the time.
Yeah.
And so he'd bring me things like Stone Roses.
Mhm.
He brought me 808 State. I brought
Wow.
Pacific by
I
808
love that.
State.
I love that.
And this is something that he literally would come in and say,
Yeah.
I can't use this at my clubs, but you need to play this stuff
Uh-huh.
here.
Uh-huh.
So like my copy of Fool's Gold, 10-minute gold record,
Yes.
gold vinyl, came from him. 808 State, there's a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff. And when he would come in, he'd come in with somebody like Jesse Saunders.
Yeah,
he would
yeah.
bring people
Yes.
who were part of the house crew.
Yeah.
And they'd be sitting there in the DJ booth, literally singing along as I would play
Uh-huh.
"Waiting on My Angel" and
Uh-huh.
things of that
Uh-huh.
nature. Those were fun times.
That's good. He's a good dude. We almost got him down to Burning Man. I went down there with a couple of my DJ crew, and Wayne was gonna go with us. We were like a week out.
I'll go with you and bring him.
Oh man, we were a week out, but he got nervous because I got nervous too because we both have asthma, and people were like, oh well, they do have a clinic. I was like, I don't want to have to go to a clinic,
You
but
need full respirators.
well,
and
yeah,
a
but
scuba tank.
but have you been to Burning Man?
No, I just don't want the dust.
But it's not like that.
No.
I have asthma, and I wasn't bothered at all because it's a different kind of dust. It's not like dust like
It's fine desert dust.
it's like clay, so it kind of sticks to you, but you don't inhale it like Anyway, we'll talk Burning Man later. I got a couple more pictures, and then we can play some music. But before we get to that, I want to get to this one.
Oh,
So, these gentlemen,
giants.
yes, let's see.
Howard Bailey, Slick,
Who knows who those folks are? If you're watching,
JDLP.
we are talking about Wayne Williams, Adrian Sky. Yes, Wayne Williams. That's our buddy. We were talking about him a little while ago and just how much we love him and how much he has contributed to. I honestly think when I think about an architect of house music, I feel like Wayne is like in the top 3.
Yeah, I was going to say top 3, if not.
Because he was responsible, and there's a lot of discussion. I mean, I'd love to get your take on this. There's a lot of, I kind of call it straight washing. How people say whitewashing, like I call it straight washing of house music, that there's not so many, but I've heard enough people try to distance it from the gay community. Like this had nothing to do with the warehouse, and this was sort of, it was a thing that happened in people's houses. And,
Yeah, let me stop you. That's
Yeah.
a damn shame.
But it happens.
Right.
It does happen. And they won't say it in exactly that way, but that's the implication in the way that people describe it.
Yeah, but I'm here tonight
Mhm.
not because I want to talk about house records.
Yes.
Right? I'm here tonight because I think that the music, the people who've been interested in it, who've been behind it, who've promoted it or played it or danced to it, whatever it is, transcends race, class, color, sexuality, whatever your weapon of choice is. God bless. We're here to be a part of a larger community.
Absolutely.
Right? So there's no difference to me between what's going on with straight washing house music and the same thing with punk rock.
Yes.
Really? Yeah, the clubs that I worked at weren't necessarily house bars.
Yeah.
But there was a huge, I worked with Mark Stevens.
Yeah.
I worked with terrific, Bud Sweet was Friday night at Medusa. Mark was Saturday night. I think I've got the dates right there. But nobody ever thought anything about who was doing what behind closed doors. That's their business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you've seen the signs on everybody's lawn. Love, means love. So.
Yeah. But and it's, I'm not hung up on it. I just get a little annoyed by the conversation because like how many years out do we have to be? Why do we have to continue to distance ourselves from each other? You know what I mean? Like, let's give props where props is due. Yes, you believe that. Hey, Gabe, you thought for sure he was going to say, "We are here to boogie." What does that mean? I don't know.
We were.
We were here to
at the
boogie.
punk rock clubs.
That's right.
We were there to boogie.
But it's just annoying. It feels like diminishing something that does not need to be diminished.
Well, that's why I think the point that I'm trying to make is we have to stop thinking about it as just this small niche Chicago thing, right?
I agree.
And Beyonce.
Right? And Beyonce. Well, Beyonce was representing Chicago big time. I do want to talk, since you brought it up. I think I even had a question about that. But so are you following the Grammys? Do you follow the Grammys?
This much.
Okay.
I will probably watch it.
Yeah, this is the first year.
Sad thing about it is I won't see Terry like all dressed up. He'll probably get his award should he win, beforehand.
Yeah. They're not going to have that as one of the main categories. Well, he'll be there. I think we're all rooting for him, obviously. But that album, Renaissance, what's kind of funny is that it is, even that album is a little controversial. I was at a brunch the other day, and I was like, well, no, she was giving a nod to the gay community, not just a nod. I mean, it was completely
community.
And it's a house community, it's a women's community, right. It's infused, but there's controversy around that too, whether or not she should have gone to Dubai. I don't know what you guys' thoughts are about whether or not Beyonce should have gone to Dubai, but I would love to hear yours.
I'm actually going to zip my lip about that. I think that somebody probably had a very lucrative offer to go there and say no more.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I kind of think she should have passed on it.
My politics are completely different.
Yeah.
She should have passed on it.
I think she should have passed on it. I love Beyonce, and that could have been just, I mean, I've heard folks say, well, maybe she was sending a message to the queer kids in Dubai, who don't have a voice by showing up there. If that was part of the plan, then maybe she's, it was sort of a mad genius move and all power. But if that wasn't a part of the plan, I don't know. I think she could have passed. Better things. So Jesse De La Pena.
Jesse De La Pena is one of my favorite people on planet Earth. He's just the sweetest kid, and he's always going to be a kid to me. We actually spoke for a brief second via text today.
Yes.
Jesse and Howard were going to have Ethiopian food in Uptown, and I was living in Andersonville last January, last December, wherever this was.
Okay.
And somebody took a picture, and I can't believe he found this.
Yeah. Well, I did a little digging. All right, I'm gonna do one more picture, and I want to get some questions. So this one, this is you, right?
Yeah, that's me.
That's you.
Does it not look like me?
No, it looks like it's just very intense. This is a picture of
I'm working.
Jeff working. You know, sometimes we take pictures of us ourselves at work. Where is this?
So this is the DJ booth at Neo.
At Neo.
And,
Okay. Talk
let's
about
see if
Neo.
we can.
Can you describe for our audience what Neo was? I went there a few times as a youngster.
Neo was a hot mess. No, I'm kidding. Neo was a place that I was fortunate enough to work at.
Mhm.
I mentioned Bud Sweet before. Bud allowed me to come in and join the mayhem
Mhm.
that's there. Neo was a really interesting place to me, but before there's a Neo, I gotta stop and go back a little bit because there wouldn't be a Neo without
Thanks, Gabe.
Lemire Vapir
Yes.
and Noah Boudreau,
Noah Boudreau.
who was a gay DJ bartender.
I remember
who
his
owned,
name.
Who owned Lemire Vapir.
Okay.
Lemire Vapir was a place that played different music. And when punk rock actually happened, he had a couple of friends that worked at, I think, the Rose Records on Broadway or somewhere.
Yes.
Who brought him, like, I want to say the Pistols record or a Buzzcocks record and said, you should look at this.
Yeah.
And he started playing that at Lemire Vapir, and it just really took off. Like, Chicago really embraced it. And a lot of people, I never went there. I was too young at the time, but Frankie Nardiello, who is of Thrill Kill Cult,
Yeah.
you know, storied musician,
Wonderful.
musician and great history, would go there. Lots of people that we know, I'm quickly name drop people like Kenny Moe, who works at Rainbow, Ken Ellis, so many different bouncers that worked there that eventually wound up landing at Neo.
Okay.
Right? And Neo was just a place that was really fun. Bud played records there. I like to think of Bud and others. Suzanne Shelton was like a DJ there. I worked with Glenn Russell, who's just fabulously brilliant musical mind.
I love all the names dropping.
Yeah.
This is great. Are those people still with us?
Well, Noah is not, sadly. But again, trying to get back to Neo. Neo opens up. Suzanne talks the owners into actually going with this new wave / punk rock format.
Yes.
It kind of takes off. It's boutique. It's back in the alley. I get this opportunity to work there before I was even 21 years old. Shh, don't tell anyone. And
were you below 21?
yeah, this photograph is me in the booth. Gil, Bud, and I were one of the DJs who were working the final weekend.
Yeah.
So you can't see it. You asked me if there were people that are still there. I'm wearing a T-shirt that basically pays homage to 4 people that worked there.
That were there.
Noah, Kimball Paul. Noah's the DJ. He worked there for a while. Kimball Paul was this famed, legendary doorman, bouncer that was there. Bobby Shea was somebody who worked at Smartbar and then came to work with us there and found his niche there. And then, oh my God, I'm forgetting the last. Steve Paul.
Yeah,
Steve Paul worked when Bud was there. So I was sneaking into Neo when Bud Sweet and Steve Paul were DJing and just getting my full fill of things that I loved and was buying at Wax Tracks. And then ultimately got a chance to dance to there. And then I had a chance to play records there. Bud moved on shortly thereafter. We fortunately remained friends. Are good friends now. Yeah. But this was a fun night, and being able to play records and close out the joint with those two guys, Bud and Gil, holy cow.
Tell me, I don't know what you're playing there, but when
I'll tell you exactly what I'm playing there.
What was this record?
So that record is on this. You guys can't. Let me see if we got 2 cameras here. So,
let me show you.
So I'm a huge ska fan.
Me too.
All right. Yes. That's why it was interesting seeing Chuck Wren here. You know, before I walked in. And that record that I'm playing, I literally had to figure this out myself, but it's Free Nelson Mandela. Okay. By the Special UK, produced by Elvis Costello.
I love Elvis Costello.
So one of my early influences, and this was something that.
What's your favorite Elvis
we were
song?
playing.
You got to tell me that.
My favorite Elvis song?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Beyond Belief off of Imperial Bedroom.
Really?
Yeah. But there's a lot.
You want to know mine?
Yeah.
Secondary Modern.
Ooh.
Believe it or not. It's a strange little song.
We're not gonna. We have to wrap
I
up
know.
sometime soon,
I know
but
exactly.
I think we're gonna be hanging out for a little bit.
Any Elvis Costello fans out there? If not, Google him. He's something special. But go ahead.
I was a junior or senior at Whitney Young, and I just saw this kid with the first Elvis record under his arm. And this kid was wicked cool. He lives in Amsterdam now, with kids that were more punk rock than anyone else. And this is, we didn't really go into the punk out thing,
yes.
right? The whole Herb Kent punk out thing.
Oh,
That was a big deal at Whitney Young.
was it?
Yeah.
You know, I
And-
talked to his daughter this weekend.
Oh, yeah. And she's the one. She's responsible for it all.
She
You
is,
know that,
we
right?
talked, Robin Kent and I, well, she was here, we had a kind of a choppy show, so we did a retake this weekend, which we will be bringing to everybody very soon. But we talked a lot about like her influence with her dad.
Yeah, she's the reason that he played those records.
Absolutely.
So, and I think that, again, this goes back to the whole, whatever your weapon of choice is, like I said earlier. I went to Whitney Young, 40% white, 40% black.
Yeah, my kid wants to go there. She's
Go.
14.
Go, have her go.
Yeah, we're
But being able to go to the parties that were there and hearing B-52s or Prince or other things that, you know, just kind of made you think there's more to it than Kansas Sticks and Journey and other bands like that.
Yes.
So it was a great way for me to get going.
Yeah.
And then it really kind of planted in my brain intensely during college.
So let me talk about the crossover piece. So we were listening to all the things that you just named. I was a huge Elvis Costello fan, and I was listening to, kind of stuff that we alluded to earlier. But then we learned about Disco DAI. And Disco DAI was where I think I first heard mixes before I went to the warehouse. I think I listened to that first. I was introduced really to
I haven't heard that in
pre-house.
Yeah.
When I heard, Peter Lewicki and those guys who were Kenny Jason, on Disco DAI in 1980 or 79, 80.
Wow.
It was like around either 1979. I know I was a senior in high school. And every day yes, he did. He wrote every day I write the book. That's Elvis Costello. And I really got snagged listening to it, but when I went to the warehouse, it was all over. I was just like, this is the way music is supposed to sound. These are my people. I'm in love, and I didn't look back. And I was a kid, but I'm wondering, were you familiar with that radio station?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said, I grew up on the West Side, so all of that. I can't say that I was a big listener because I was looking.
But you were familiar.
I was listening to. Growing up, I listened to Triad and then XRT, which was born.
Yeah, of course.
So I mean, I have really fond memories of listening to Love is a Drug by Roxy Music when it came out, when it was being played on the radio. Back at that time, you didn't have these giant monolithic corporations dictating what you could play, and there was a little bit more range and variety.
Yeah.
And listening to, whether it was Talking Heads or the Police, other things, great DJs on XRT in Johnny Mars or Marty
we just
Lennox,
lost
Lynn Brennan.
Yeah, we just lost someone. So rest in peace.
Yep.
All right, so those were really important years. I think, we talk a lot about them on the Vintage House Show because that's kind of where the transition happened. It was also where technology happened. So what was the first thing you learned? How did you, talk about your technique and what was the first piece of equipment?
If any of my DJ friends are listening, they'll say, Jeff has no technique.
Oh, come on. Well, what did you have? What kind of equipment did you have? And where was it?
So I had a ghetto blaster and I had a lot of cassettes when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I was really happy to have this huge satellite ghetto blaster.
Radio Raheem.
No, I didn't carry it around like Raheem would have. In hindsight, if I could get a hold of one, I probably would.
Yeah.
On Halloween.
That's a great idea. Anybody got a ghetto box? What do we call those? Boom box, ghetto box, whatever.
But basically, I started DJing when I was at IIT.
Okay.
I wound up joining a fraternity that just so happened to be like the ape house that you see in Animal House.
Okay.
Right? And we had an annual punk party, but we made sure that the punk rock that we were playing there got played all the time.
Okay.
And I started going to nightclubs because there were a couple of guys in the house and we wanted to literally play Galaga and Miss Pac-Man and other games. So we'd go to the 950, we'd go to Neo, we'd go to these places, and lo and behold, the music that I was listening to was being played there. So it just became a natural fit. I was going to Wax Tracks, pretty frequently.
Love
and
Wax
buying,
Tracks.
of course. And wound up basically just kind of having all this just bubble up and gel,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I had this opportunity to do it myself, and I doubt that I knew what I was doing,
Mm-hmm.
and literally learned on turntables on the job. You know,
Oh, so you got a job
So-
and you just
Oh, yeah.
start playing.
I don't know why Bud hired me, because literally I gave him a cassette and I probably had the track listing
Yeah,
on it. He
yes,
probably
yes,
just
yes.
looked at the track listing and said, "Oh, he'll do,"
Yeah.
and away we go.
No,
you know?
he knew something special.
But there was no mix to it. It was just songs
Yeah.
that I thought were really meaningful.
Yeah.
That nightclub would have appreciated.
Right.
And again, you know, I jokingly referred to
Mm-hmm.
Mayor Daley before, and I've been roasted throughout my career.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor Daley rose through the ranks because people dropped off. They moved away. They died. They
Mm-hmm.
did whatever. So he
Mhm.
became, like Mayor Daley the first,
Yeah, of course.
became this big shot,
Yeah.
following in the footsteps of others. I had an opportunity because there was a guy named Mark Riva who basically was moving to San Francisco,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Steve Paul was working there. Steve Paul eventually quit.
Yeah.
I
Sometimes you
wound
just
up
gotta
picking up
hang
his
around.
night. Right. Steve Paul
Yeah.
quit working at the Park West. The guys from the Park West came to see me. I was bar backing at Neo. And this guy goes, "We want you to come work on a Saturday night." I'm
Okay.
like, "I'm kind of happy here." They're like, "Jeff, come work for us."
That's great.
So it's just one of these things. And while I was working at Neo,
Mhm.
and I had a couple of off nights that became very popular,
Yeah.
one of the managers at Smartbar basically said, "We
Mhm.
want to do something on Sundays.
Okay.
Will you come up here?"
Mm-hmm.
And that, you know, I want to take we've been talking about Neo. I'm really happy that I had the opportunity to play records at Smartbar.
Yeah.
The
Let's
group
talk
of
about
people that were
Smartbar.
there, the
Yes.
community that's there. I was joking with Bud's wife,
Yeah.
April, recently, because I was there, and I
Mm-hmm.
have meant to say this the whole show. I see myself as somebody who's like sitting in the center of, I hope I say this right, Venn diagram,
Mm-hmm.
for all these different genres.
Yeah.
I played hip hop.
Yeah.
I played punk rock.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can throw down
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of jazz music, you know,
Mhm.
things of that
Mhm.
nature. But I have this, I've got a bit more broad
Yeah.
approach to it.
Yeah.
And I was able to really leverage that at
Yeah.
Smartbar, because you got all these rock people who are coming in to sit at the bar and to drink and to hang with the
Yeah.
fantastic bartending staff that we
Yeah.
had there.
Yeah.
Super shout out to Barb, no longer with us, and
Yeah.
good friends,
Mm-hmm.
Eldona, Jill Barron that's
Mhm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
These guys were terrific,
Hey, Louie.
and we had all of these different groups there.
Mhm.
And then you'd have people like Axl Rose coming downstairs. This is why I was joking with April, because we were
Yes.
talking about Guns N' Roses.
Uh-huh.
And I literally, Axl Rose was sitting across from the DJ booth one night when I was playing records, and I think I played hardcore rap music for an hour just to see if I could force him out. You know,
And?
he was totally cool. He
Yeah.
just sat there listening, talking with his friends.
Wow.
So it was fun.
That's
time.
pretty cool. Smartbar. Let's talk a little bit about. I know we are burning through this hour. For those of you who are just, let me just do a little bit of station identification because I haven't done it yet. But you've been listening to Lori Branch here from Vintage House talking to our guest, DJ Jeff Pazen, who claims not to be an architect of house music, but we're taking that back and saying yes, you are, because house music is the music of love and acceptance and inclusion, and it's a big umbrella that includes a lot of people, and he should be squarely under that.
Thank you.
And Terry Hunter and Wayne Williams agree. So that's all the approval you need. So Smartbar, you know, I do have the opportunity to spend there once in a while. As an adult, I think I maybe had the opportunity as a much younger person, like a guest spot here and there. But most recently, last few years, I've been doing sets with, with Michael Serafini, Queen. He's invited me a couple times, and I was fortunate to spend with my friend Honey Dijon and,
Nice.
and DJ Lady D,
Terrific.
and Hannah Viti Girl, who's new to our crew.
Lady D,
Yes,
Whitney Young alum.
I know.
Need to say that.
DJ Lady D, Whitney Young. Hey, what's up, Ricky?
Cute.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Oh my God.
That's
so
one of my buds. Yes, we good?
Yeah.
And I just, one thing that Lady D and I agree on, and everybody, is sound systems matter.
Mhm.
And one thing that, many places have good sound systems, but when I think about what's around today, we're all very picky. We're old now, so I'm not going to just hope that it works.
Let's take a second to give Joe Shanahan his props.
Listen, I
getting
had
Tommy G to come in there and trick that
I
place
ain't
out.
even started with my boy Joe. Joe knows that I love him so much, because he has done an amazing job, creating an atmosphere that is warm and welcome and
evolving,
and continuing to
right.
evolve. So talk about Smartbar. You were a resident DJ there?
I worked there for 7 years
Yes.
straight. In fact, let me say this.
Yes.
I love Derek Carter.
Yes.
Sundays were lit when I was working there.
Uh-oh.
Before there was Queen.
Before there was Queen.
Sundays were pretty hot.
There was Jeff.
I'm just joking in case he happens to tune in. And Michael Serafini. High praise to both of them. But Smartbar was terrific. How can I not look back with fondness at a place that gave me wings to license to do anything that I wanted? I got to work with Mark Stevens. How blessed am I that I had an opportunity to work with a Bud Sweet, a Noah Boudreau, Mark Stevens, and then rounding it out, being able to work with Terry Bristol, Val, Psycho Bitch, Val Scheinflug, you know. I mentioned Gil, Jeff Moyer, so many names that it just made it like the people that I'd want to invite over for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Terrific.
It's a great crew. And I always continue to give Joe props because I just feel like it's, as you said, it's continuing to evolve. You know, it continues to like attract new energy and young people. And are they talking to us? You talking to me? Oh, okay. We're getting the peanut gallery talking to us. So, you know, big shout out to Smartbar and they keep doing what they do. Everyone is so kind, and they make sure that you have what you need.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, Smartbar was a place where I could sit in the booth with the guys from EMF. I could slash. Joe brought Slash down one day and just parked him in the DJ booth for a good hour or so. You know, the range of people, the local, all of the Wax Tracks artists, people that were hanging out at tracks, doing recording, the ministry crew, anybody involved in the Chicago industrial scene was coming through there. So once again, that Venn diagram thing that I was joking about earlier,
right there in the middle.
You know, being able to play industrial music and then within 30 minutes being able to shift over and play twin hype or you know, some rap record.
But I think, you know, we kind of call that open format. I mean, but I think that
or schizo in my case.
Or just fun. You know, I too like to play a little bit of everything. And you know, speaking of different genres, we talked about our mutual friend Duro Wicks. Duro and I were in a crew together. He was leading and I was their DJ.
God bless that man.
Yeah, God bless Duro Wicks, who's got a documentary that hopefully is coming out this year. Did you know about that? Yes, are you in it?
No, I'm not in it, but trust me, like I'm up in Duro's DMs like nightly on Instagram. Like, oh my God, this is so cool.
All right, so Duro, some people like to call Duro like the godfather of hip hop in Chicago, because he was one of the first people who recognized we needed a scene. You know, that we had a lot of raw talent, and we had people who wanted to do this, but there was not really there wasn't a scene per se. There wasn't like sort of regular places that people could go to do open mic. And so he really kind of created that for Chicago.
And I think he did a lot of that unbeknownst to me after I left.
Yeah.
Right? Like Duro was somebody who would come in and hang out in the DJ booth at Smartbar. And God bless.
Yeah.
You know, I'm again.
Yeah.
How lucky am I to be able to have made all these friends over the years?
Yes. Hey, Joe. Joe is watching.
Joe who?
Hey, Joe Shanahan.
Hello.
Hey. Yeah, well, we love you. So thank you for doing what you do.
We're about to get the boot.
What's up, Jesse? Yeah, they're trying to give us the boot, and we just got warmed up here. All right, we're going to get out of your hair in like 2 shakes. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to have to be wrapping it up. Your first bar residency. Jesse, was that for you or for you?
First place I ever worked really quickly was the 950. God bless it. And that's where I met Noah. I asked Noah if he could get me one night. I just wanted to DJ one night at the Artful Dodger on the near west side.
Yes, I remember
Wicker Park area.
Yes.
And he said, oh, F that. You're going to play records here. And I was a design student. I put up posters at the time. I went to Wax Tracks and left out a dozen flyers, went to all the record stores around, promoted the hell out of it, only to find on that particular Sunday, which was I was turning 20 that night. Yeah. I packed the place. Like it was packed.
Wow.
And
that's what's up.
I wound up getting a job there.
Yeah.
And then I went to work at that little dive bar, Octagon.
Octagon, I remember
Clark
Octagon.
Street.
Yeah.
And because of that, some people who were working at Neo who had a later shift would come in, and then one of the waitresses told me, hey, they're looking for a DJ for Monday nights, and that's where I got going.
That's what's up.
And then, so I worked at Neo for a while.
Yeah.
Had good relationships and great friendships from there. But then things really started to click for me when I went over to Smartbar.
That's wonderful.
Like when I think about my career, it's tying things off. And since Joe's watching, I'm the Minnie Minosa of the Smartbar because I've played in every decade, and it's a new decade. So I need a night there just to keep the streak going, Joe.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And I could do it with Gil and Bud.
So listen, there's so much we didn't get to. But let me just say first, thank you. This is such an enriching conversation. I think that there's more to be heard from this guy because he is a history book that we have learned very quickly. But we need to know more.
I'm old.
And what? Listen, I'm older than you, so you're not that
I
old.
don't think so.
Oh, hey, 1980.
But I was put back like 4 times.
Yeah. Anyway.
Between kindergarten and first grade.
Yeah,
4 times.
he's making stuff up now. But Jeff, what's next for you before we close out? And if you guys want to, start something, you can.
Or we get to play?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. What's next for me in the music scene? Yeah. If I'm lucky, I've been able to play records with Bud Sweet. At this little place, the Charleston.
Okay.
Not really. People will get up to dance from time to time, but it's a night that Bud basically started, and he was working like once a month.
Right.
And Bud works in the theater scene, so he had me opening. So there are times when I get to work with him, and it's tremendous fun.
Any place we can see you?
I'll let you
know. Not on Facebook.
Yeah, I used to be on Twitch. I stopped working. I was really grateful for the opportunity during the pandemic. I had an opportunity to actually give back. And
that was
I worked
great.
for a technology company that basically allowed me to spin records during the day. So I had a 1 hour to 90 minutes Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And we had a really good thing going for a good almost 2 years.
The pandemic did give us some good music, that's for sure.
Shout out to all of the people who are on Twitch right now, from Brazil to Portland and Denver and Brad Rhodes out in the East Coast. The Twitch community right now, there's some really terrific DJs on Twitch. Yeah. I mentioned Jeff Moyer, who's does an 80s night on Thursdays. It's terrific.
Yeah. So listen, we're going to transition to our next DJ for Street Beat. What we got over here?
1220.
DJ 1220?
Yeah.
1220? You got all your new WNUR gear on. I love it. We got the swag in the house. So, hey, Jesse, thank you. That's a great compliment coming from you because every show you put on is great. I still want to come on your show, so don't forget about me. But listen, Jeff, thank you, buddy. It was so nice to finally be in the same room with you. And we're going to hear from DJ 1220. More Street Beat continues. Vintage House will be back next Wednesday. So please lock it in. Check us out. We do a podcast. It's the Vintage House show. You can pick it up wherever you are, and you can rehear this and many of our past shows, which are fantastic. So look forward to seeing y'all next week. Bye.
See you guys.
All right.
These guys are all big influences on me and certainly house music.
So let's go on that. I want to talk a little bit about each of your illustrious careers because you guys have done a lot. All three of you have done amazing, have had amazing contributions to what we call house music. This is the Vintage House Show. And so part of what that is about is celebration and preservation. This is Lauren Spraying, but the celebration and preservation of Chicago house legends and Chicago house music. And